Damian, Son of Batman, number 3, written and art by Andy Kubert. So last issue, Damian took up the mantle of Batman and then started going after Professor Pig. And it didn't end well for him. So this issue picks up with him plummeting off of this huge skyrise down into the alley below. And apparently he manages to flip off and land in the Gotham River. And only because it is so polluted and so disgusting is he able to essentially stay afloat as he washes up to shore nearby, where Alfred, who, despite being so pissed off against Damian, did track him, does know he's here, pulls him out of the river and is like, okay, you're like mostly dead, so I'm going to have to fix you up. And he takes him home, does all of his medical stuff on him. And as he finishes up and gets him into a like stable state, he's like, okay, I am too old for this, and I just dragged like a 20-something-year-old out of the river and the whole way home, so I need some tea. And as he sits down for some tea, he collapses and dies. And sitting next to him was Alfred the cat, who is a cat that Damian named Alfred. And Alfred the cat runs over to Damian's bed as Damian starts to wake up, and then starts talking in Alfred's voice. And Damian's like, I'm sorry, what is happening right now? And the cat doesn't explain. He's just like, oh, Master Damian, you must get up. It's highly important. The Professor Pig's henchmen are at it again. And Damian's like, what? Huh? Okay. So we go across town and we see a bunch of gorillas in like clown gear. One of them's jackanapes, and there's also a shark. So they've got a school bus full of kids that they've hijacked, and just like, oh yeah, we're going to take these guys back to Professor Pig, and it's going to be a great payday for us. And the shark guy's being extra menacing because he wants to eat the kids. But then they see as they're driving, Batman just kicks through the front windshield right in the jackanapes face. And it's a pretty decent fight scene that comes out here, but Damian's making the concerted effort of like, I'm not going to kill them. It's against everything I feel like I should do, but I'm not going to kill them. So he gets them very, very wounded and then says, oh, police are here. They're gonna take care of the rest of them. The kids are all safe. So yeah, I gotta go and talk to the one man who might understand this. And he goes to the church again and he talks to the father and says like, hey, I'm being Batman. I didn't kill those guys, but like, you know, I did what I had to do. And the father's just like, oh, you had no other choice. You had to do this to become Batman. And he's like, yeah, I know, but like, it's really hard for me not to kill. And he's just like, it's whatever. But then the guy says like, look, Professor Pig doesn't matter. You'll get him eventually. What's really important right now is you still have to get the Joker. And Damian's immediately like, I never told you about the Joker. Who the hell are you? And so he comes out, tries to track down the father. No idea. He's just gone. He disappeared into the wind. So they bury Alfred. There's not many people at the funeral, but Damian still is talking to the cat, and he's like, okay, you want to tell me what's up, man? What's going on? Also, Bruce is doing better as well. So once again, the cat says like, I don't know. I have no idea why I talk. And you're the only one that I've talked to, so it might all just be in your head. Who knows? So Damian basically says like, yeah, you know, maybe I do need to talk to my dad and get some help from him. This might be a bit over my head. So he goes out of the cave up to the manor, goes up to where his father's being kept. Turns out Bruce Wayne is gone. And in his bed is a Joker card. And he's like, oh, crap. I got to deal with this now. So I don't know how he knows where to go, but he goes down to the same dock that exploded before. And as he makes his way across, he finds a bloody bandage, and he's like, okay, it's a lot of heavy blood loss, but you know, don't want to overreact here. I'm sure my dad is fine. So he sees an open door to a warehouse. And he's like, nah, I'm not falling for that. He goes in through the roof, and as he peers through a hole in the flooring of the floor above, he sees his dad strapped to one of the pillars of this warehouse. And as soon as he sees that, he just busts his way down. He's just like, no, I'm not losing him too. So he goes down to free his dad. All of a sudden the lights kick on, and standing there is Joker. But he makes very clear immediately, like, what? No, I'm not Joker. That guy disappeared like a decade ago. No one knows what happened to him. You can call me Joker. And Yeah, he's just dressed the same as Joker, but it's a different guy. And he basically has taken Bruce Wayne hostage here because he's like, yeah, I mean, who better to draw Batman than Bruce Wayne? The two are always inextricably linked. So, yeah, Joker's back, but not actually Joker. It's a different Joker. So, I gotta tell you, I'm if Andy Kubert was going for the Morrison feel, I'm getting there because there's a lot that they're just not explaining and a lot that I just don't get. Why is the cat talking like Alfred? What did the Jackanapes plot have to do with anything? Why is there a non-Joker Joker? It's a lot. In general, I'd say this one is probably like a 7 flat. I don't think it's because it's out of continuity, but I'm just not like into Damian's Batman. Like, it's an okay story being told, but it just doesn't have that thing that's grabbing me, really. Maybe it is because it feels consequence free, like none of this is actually happening, but I don't know. I feel like there's just something it could have done to really make me feel like this matters, and it just never did that. So I'll give it the 7, and we'll see next issue's the last issue, how it wraps up there.